So you're always gonna stay looking at this camera.
Okay.
Even if you don't look at this camera, if you just want to look at me, you can do that.
Okay.
Just don't switch back and forth.
Okay.
All right.
My name's Lencho Ramos, and I'm an active lowrider here in Victoria, Texas. I got started in lowriding in 1993. I had I had just gotten a 6-speed BMX bike back in the 90s. It was like a real big deal. It had a shifter on there, and I was all like, "Hell yeah! I just got this bike." And I was out riding around in the neighborhood, and I had went to go show my cousins that lived down the block, and I went over there and we were just kicking it. They're like, yeah, and then they're like, man, well, we're gonna go to this guy's house down the street. I was like, all right, so we went over there, and then this dude was working on he was working on his car, and it was a purple Chevy Malibu. I don't know the exact year. And his name's Freddie Castillo. And so they had introduced me to him, and then there was another guy across the street, and his name was Al Chacon. He had an old school truck, and I was like, damn, all right. So like everybody's getting older, and like that's where they're kicking it. And Freddie went and hit the switch on his car, and then just stuck ever since. Like once I saw that car hop, I was like, damn. And then they were like, yeah. And they were talking about how, yeah, that they're going to start building lowrider bikes. I was like, what? Like, the fuck you could do a lowrider bike? And they're like, yeah. And they started like showing me like how they were going to start doing it. And I was like, shit, well, fuck this 6-speed. I'm going to go and get a fucking lowrider bike. And then went and told my parents and went to Bill's Bikes. And that's a bike place over here in Victoria. And we went over there and put a bike on their way. And I remember my dad was all pissed off because I had just got this 6-speed mountain bike that I didn't even want to fuck with no more. And then we just went and got that, and I went and got it. And the first, as soon as I got it, it was a chrome 20-inch lowrider bike, and had the 20-inch Dayton's on it. And there was a car show the following year, which was 94. 94 is whenever I was able to actually get the bike and everything. I think I got it for my birthday. And so there was a car show at the community center, put on my proud image. Randy Chacon was putting on that car show. Had shorties over here and everything, and that was the very first big car show that I competed in. I had went to one before, but that was the first one I competed in. And
how old were you?
I was 10. I was 10, and remember we went. It was that car show was like around October, so we went like Halloween theme, and I had never been to a car show before. I remember my dad went and got an old mirror and taped it up and spray painted the frame of the mirror black, and went and got an old Mexican blanket. And we put it right there, and then we had put like a Freddy Krueger mask and like just Halloween shit, and put the bike on there. That was the very first time. Set up the bike on there, and I got to see like everybody that's already been in the mix, like grown ass men with lowrider bikes, and of course, lowrider cars and everything. And I didn't even know what to expect, and shit, we just stuck around for it. And next thing you knew, the very first show, they called my name for third place. I still got that trophy. Yeah, so that's when I started lowrider.
When you're 10 years old?
Yeah, 9, 10 years old is when I started.
When did you get your first lowrider car?
I got my first lowrider car in 98. It was 98. 97, 97. Yeah,
So
97.
17 at the time?
No, hell no, shit. I was like 12, 13.
How did
Yeah,
you
it
get
was
the
like
car?
13.
So let's just backtrack. So from you're 10 years old and you got your first car show, you got third place.
Yeah.
tell us how you got into getting your first car and like what led you to all of that.
Okay. So the very first car show. So with our what would you call it? With our culture, you know, you got the lowriding culture, but it's there's like you got your stereotypes and all that stuff, and it all falls into there's like so many different categories. So you got the lowrider that's a cruiser. You got the lowrider that, you know, he likes to kick back and chill. You got the lowrider that is active with everything, and then you got the one that goes and shows constantly. Um, I would say that I fall into the one that loves to go and show. Like I love to cruise. I like to go out and cruise, but I don't cruise all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like I like to kick back and chill at the shop, but my main thing is a car show, and I got bit with that at a real young age. So after I did that car show, that was my very first one. Um, you know, I just got the I just got the itch, and then I remember we met a guy over there from Houston. He worked with Shorties, and he was telling us about a Houston car show that was coming up. So we went ahead, and I was like, shit, fuck yeah, you know, I won third place in Victoria. I'm gonna go out there with my blanket and my Freddy Krueger mask, and I'm gonna hold it down in Houston. And wrong, that didn't happen. Like, remember we went out there, went to the Astrodome. Got to go to the Astrodome, and we went, set up in there. Me and my dad got the bike all ready, and we stayed there all day long. Got to go check out all the cars, and went to the awards. And I was like, but once I got to see like other shit, I was like, man, I ain't got no business being here. And sure enough, you know, they didn't call my name, they didn't call my number. So you know, we just went and kept on, you know, like Christmas time would come up, like, hey, what do you want for Christmas? I want bike parts. You know, birthdays comes up, hey, what do you want? I want bike parts. You know, my dad always worked and then he cut yards, so I'd go and cut yards with my dad and just get bike parts, all the time getting bike parts. And um, what, whenever I had went to, I'm like jumping around. Whenever I got the bike, I ended up joining a local car club called To the Curb. Freddie Castillo was the president at the time, and that's the one. He had the purple Malibu, and you know, he was hitting switches. He would let me get in the car, or he was hitting switches, three wheeling, and man, they had another guy in there named Jeff. He had a Cutlass. Who else they have? And I can't remember that dude's name. I had another dude. He had a Blazer. Man, like okay, like back then, like today, like everybody's like 12 batteries, 4 pumps. You know, just ready to hit the streets. Boom, boom, boom. Back then, it was like three, 4 batteries. You know what I'm saying? And it was like the setups back then weren't compared to what they were today. But man, you know, they'd be in the parking lot just going to town, be in the streets going into town. And like, you know, I was a little kid, I'd be in there, so we were chilling with them. And then, you know, so I did car shows with them, did parades, and just, uh, you know, just like anything, people end up going their ways. And so, so my cousins, they went and they started off a branch off of To the Curb, which is known as Latino Dreams. I was actually proud to say that like the fourth member of Latino Dreams. And once we got Latino Dreams, you know, we got more bikes. Joel was the president of Latino Dreams, and it was sitting real deep, like, man, like 20 lowriders ready to go. And you know, and
At this age,
by that time, you know, I'm already like 12, 13.
dang.
12, 13. So, you know, we're doing.
You still had your bike at this time?
Yeah, yeah. By then, it was like full. It wasn't a street bike no more. It was already full custom. Getting awards, getting best of shows. Like it was. It was already happening. I was already getting known for it. Actually, was able to get featured in Bajitos magazine with it. And then there was another magazine too. I can't remember what it was called. But yeah, that It was one of the very first two-tone chrome and gold bikes. We took off the 20 inches and put 16-inch baby Daytons on there. Everything was twisted on it. It was just it was ahead of its time, and my dad made me a stupid, crazy display. It was up in the air on tables, mirrors all the way around, and so my dad would go and load up his truck, load up the bike, and we'd hit up Corpus, San Antonio, Houston, and around Victoria, Port Lavaca. Like, we just had that area, so I was active all the way around right there. So yeah, I had that bite ever since, and then I think it was in '98. In '98, my dad went, and I had told him, I had been telling him I wanted a car, and we were like that. We're gonna buy a car. We're gonna fix it up. But I wanted an old school car, and they were like, nah, not. I wasn't ready for an old school car, and I was like determined, like, I wanted like an Impala or something, and I wanted to build it, but my dad was like, no, that ain't gonna happen. So we went to Corpus, and I had like a couple of dollars saved up, and my dad found a '93 Chevy Cavalier, and we ended up buying the car. Well, he bought the car for me and brought it back home. It was this stock '93 Chevy Cavalier, and soon as I got it home, the very first thing that we did was we put a system in it. Cleaned the shit out of it, and I was trying to figure out how to drop it. And so there I go, taking it to Cypress. And I lived on Cherry Street, and then after Cherry Street, you got over here in Victoria, you got Theo Hike ShopRite. So in my neighborhood, that's our territory, I guess you could say. Like, that's our spot. So I lived right here, and then Cypress is right over here. So I went, took it to Cypress, was like, hey man, check it out, look what I got, bam, bam, bam. Hey, yeah, we just got the car. I remember my dad was pissed because I came back and we already had primer spots on it. We already started sanding it down. And dad was like, what the fuck you doing? I was like, oh man, we're getting it ready for a paint job. What? And no rims, no none. We're already getting primer spots on there. And then, so it was like that for a good while. And then I just kept on doing little odds and ends here and there. And my mom found some 15-inch McLeans and the Victoria Advocate for like $400. And I mean, now it's like they're probably like, what the fuck? But like, man, let me tell you, like 15-inch back then were the shit. And it was, but around that time is like when 13s were starting to get back on the lowrider Euro parts, or like they're already going to 16s. So I was like some old school 15s. And I remember we went over there, and my dad went and looked at them. And so my dad went and wheeled and dealed with this guy, and they didn't even fit the car. And I remember my dad was like, they're not even gonna fit your car. I was like, well, we can figure something out. And I think my dad got me those rims for like $200. I remember it was like Christmas time. The dude needed money. My dad went and got it. And so I was like, hell yeah. So I had these 15-inch McLeans on low pros that didn't fit the car. So my dad took off the hub, did some Mexican ingenuity, and he went and drilled those rims to make them fit the car. And it was like, all right, but couldn't go no more than like 30 miles an hour without the car shaking, but it didn't matter because I only went 20. So it went like that, and then by that time I was already like 14, I guess, and I had a part-time job already at 14. I was working at an apartment complex. I was painting over there, and every day after school I'd go to work, and then every weekend I'd be working. So I was probably making, for a 14-year-old, I was probably making like, about $120 a week. And then like every time I start getting paid, I'd save up, and we'd go to the flea market and go get like some stuff over there, or start ordering parts. And I remember Nick Torres, he got a pretty popular Cavalier over here in Victoria. His car had gotten vandalized. And so I went over there with my buddy Mike Gutierrez, and Nick was just getting all the stuff out. It was all torn up, and we were like, "What are you gonna do with it?" He's like, "I don't throw it away." And my homeboy Mike Gutierrez, he had his sister's old car, which was a Cavalier also. And so we're like, "Man, can we have it?" He was like, "Yeah." So we went and got it, and I took the parts that I was able to keep. I kept the headliner and like the seats, I think. And remember, I took them home, and my mom was like, "What are you doing with all this?" And I was like, "Man, look, can y'all fix it?" And so my mom and my sister were right there, and needle and thread, they were like sewing up the seats that got ripped up. And I had went and got some different velvet, and then we put velvet on there, and so shit, man, yeah. I ended up having diamond tuck crushed velvet seats and headliner and dashboard, and then I started tearing apart the door panels, and I wrapped them myself, and then we put those on there. And I ended up selling my 15-inch McLeans to my homeboy Mike, and then I bought some two-toned luxury knockoffs, 13s, and then we put a pump in there, and then had one switch to the back, and I was getting ready, ready to throw a paint job on there, and then we just, some shit happened. Don't want to, what do you call it, incriminate myself or whatever, so I had to get rid of the car. And so I went home, and I remember I was taking all the shit off, and my dad was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I don't want the car no more." He's like, "Why?" I was like, "I just don't want it." So I took the rims off, took everything off, and sold the car. And we took off. I sold the car, and then we took off to Houston. I can't remember what that dealership was called. And I went and I got a 1995 single cab GMC step side. And then I started, as soon as I got that truck, cruised around in it, and I was the very first person in Victoria with 20-inch real deal Dayton knockoffs. Still in high school. So put the knockoffs on there and dropped it, and took that one to shows. Man, I got probably got about 10 awards with that one. I did the Houston show with that one. I did the San Antonio show, did Corpus, of course Victoria, and surrounding counties. That one was pretty cool. Did a paint job on that one, Suicide Hood. Had Michael the Archangel. That one right there, that truck, I ended up naming that one. I think I named it. Did I name it Earth Angel? I think that's what it was called. I think it was called Earth Angel. And had Michael the Archangel fighting the devil on the hood. I don't know if you want to see it, but the hood's up there. And then everybody. By that time, I had got into another car club. I had got into Low Impressions, and then all of my buddies and everything, they started taking their shit to the next level, and they had got into a bigger car club called Rollers Only. And I was like, man, I wanna do that. So my dumb ass went, and we pulled the engine and transmission out of the car. Shout outs to David. Pulled the engine and transmission out of the truck, and took the front clip off, took the bed off, took off all the suspension, C-notched it, and did all this shit to it, and we ended up hitting the point of no return. And so the truck had to go to the graveyard, because it was too far. We cut it up way too much. I wanted to do too much shit to it, and I didn't realize what it really took to do something like that. So that happened, and then it knocked me out the game for about, shit, man, probably 7 years.
How old were you at this time?
By that time, man, I'm already in my 20s.
So from 20 something till you said 7 years.
Yeah, so probably maybe I was maybe 23 On my 30th birthday, my wife went and bought me another regular cab truck, identical to the 95 that I had. I still had the 95 at this time, and so on my 30th birthday, she went.
Just in the front yard. Was it one of those things that like a lot of car guys?
Yeah, yeah, it was just sitting in the front yard, all torn apart, getting tagged all the fucking time. Neighbors always bitching about it, and it was just like I was adamant that I'm gonna bring this truck back to life, and
is that the rabbit hole that I hear about car guys?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the fucked up part about it, dude, is that nothing was wrong with that truck. Nothing was wrong with it. I went and I wanted to put a full chrome engine in it, and I wanted to do the transmission, and not even looking into how much all that shit costs. I was like, yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna take all this shit out and undo all chrome and gold and all candy paint, and yeah, it just didn't happen. The affordable part was taking it all apart. The expensive part was trying to put it back together, and I couldn't afford to do it. So on my 30th birthday, my wife went and bought me another truck, and I had made a promise to her that I wasn't going to go to the extreme on it. And she was like, okay. So she bought me the truck. She bought me the truck for like, I think she bought me that truck for like $1,000. And so I got the truck, and my birthday's in May, and Low Impressions has an annual picnic in Victoria every June, and I was like, I'm gonna have the truck at the picnic. And I remember I told my wife that after I got it, and she was like, "What do you mean you're gonna have the truck at the picnic? It was just a regular truck." I said, "Yes, I'm gonna have the truck at the picnic." And so in 1 month, I sanded down the whole truck, primed it, put my 20-inch Daytons on there, dropped it, put my bed cover on it, and pretty much everything that I had for the other truck, I was already swapping it onto there. And I was able to pull in, and everybody got to see, Lencho was back on the street again. And Houston show was in October or November. Like, I can't remember. Anyways, and I was like, yeah. So I'm taking it to Houston. They're like, what the fuck? Like, you just got this truck, like, take baby steps. I'm like, nah, bullshit. I'm going back right where I left off. So by that time, I already have a job as a painter and everything, and went sanded down the whole truck, painted it, threw flakes on there, had an ostrich interior, ostrich headliner, ostrich seats, airbag setup, suicide hood, 20-inch Daytons, and threw it on a piece of shit trailer, and took off to Houston, set it up, had display and everything, felt, and that show was the best show, because I was finally back, and didn't win, and came back home and kept on fucking with the truck, adding more shit to it, and then started doing shows, hitting San Antonio, Houston, Corpus, staying in this area, winning, placing. That truck right there is called Striptease. What we did was we built a stripper stage in the back, hooked up to the hitch, had the pole on there. So whenever we'd go to the shows, I'd have it right there, have it all set up with the pole and the platform, and we'd get the models or the strippers walking around, get them to go up there and get a lot of attention, and have the girls spinning on the pole and getting pictures with it. And there was boxed in the whole bed, had actuators on the bed cover, so it had pop bed, and could see the setup right there. Everything was all hardline. Had a little bit of chrome underneath the hood. Ended up putting some 14-inch knockoffs on there, and then so had that truck for a good while, and then